Today we have a special edition LEGO set review. Today we have the Toys R Us exclusive Emmet's car and Emmet's fly car. This is a 2-in-1 build available exclusively at Toys R Us on February 8th, 2014 from 12 to 2 p.m. This is their monthly build, and this is the bag that you get to collect all of your pieces. You basically, if you haven't been to one of these events before, they have several tables lined up. Some of them have boxes where they put all the pieces in different smaller boxes. They have all the elements sorted out, and it has on the box how many of what piece you need. You can also look on the instructions. They give you that when you first walk in too, so you can use that also as a guide to make sure that you have the right pieces and the right number of pieces. Now, what's special about this Toys R Us event is that it's a 2-in-1 build, and commonly they are only one build, so you get two sets of instructions. We'll look at those in just a minute. Now, this is my first ever LEGO movie set review. Even though I have LEGO products from the LEGO movie before this review, this is the first one that I've actually recorded the review for it. So it will be a little bit interesting how this goes. I have not seen the LEGO movie yet, so it's going to be a little bit awkward when trying to review it. But I did check with some of my resources for people who have seen the movie to help me along with this review. So let's take a closer look at this set now. So the first model I will show you from this kit is Emmet's fly car. This is a small design that was made inspired by Emmet's car. Now, from what I've heard from Just Too Good Eurobricks, this has not been featured in the movie, although the regular car has. So this is kind of an inspirational model based on the original one. It gives you, the nice 2-in-1 idea, and really invites the idea that any model that you make can be remade into something else that would look pretty awesome. I mean, I actually like this for its nice, for the size that's given and the pieces that are used. This is well constructed. Now, the one piece that's used in here that wasn't used in the car is the 2x8 on the bottom. That's the only piece that I found that wasn't used in the car build. But everything else has been used, except for a few pieces. We have the 4 wheels, just the tires themselves were not used in this build because it's a plane, it's not really a car. Then we have 2 of these wheels that were not used. 2 of them are actually on there, and I'll show you in a sec. And then we have this panel-like piece that was not used. So you could try to put the panel piece on somewhere if you wanted to. Probably somewhere in the back or underneath or something. But I still like it the way it is. You can see the wheels on this side and on the other side. I don't really think they're supposed to work as landing gear or anything, because even doesn't really roll along the ground. And I guess the idea of them is maybe like an extra engine or something underneath, or just to give more the idea that this is a transformed car, just like the other parts. Now, we do have 2 opening doors on both sides, and the doors can open with the little hinges, the little car handle that's used for minifigures. It has enough space in there to fit a minifigure, just an average one. On the back we have some small wings, and we have this little engine and kind of a small fin in the back. Kind of a nice detail, and like I said, it's very good size considering the pieces that are used, and everything seems to be just right. Now we're going to put Emmet in there. This is the version you see in most of the LEGO sets. The one I'm using is from the Getaway Glider. Now, I took the piece of resistance off of him to see how well he fits without it, and it's basically the best way you could fit him in there. Because with the piece of resistance, it would be interfering with this back portion. So any figures that have any sort of bracket or backpack pieces will not be able to fit in here, or if they have long hair pieces in the back. So this is a, good size for him. You can see well over the top, and, his arms are in a good position to pilot the plane. So I like it as a fly car. It's a nice little mini build. I think it actually did better than I first thought of it when I first saw the picture of it in stores. So now let's rebuild this into Emmet's car. So here we have Emmet's car. This is the same exact one that is shown in the movie. We've seen this in part of the trailers, and you can see it in the movie by itself. We only have one extra piece for this build. It's just a 2x8, which is actually, I don't know if I did it wrong, but anyone else who has this can double check with me on this. I checked all the pieces to be sure I had them all before I left Toys R Us, and yet it still tells me that after building this car, there are 2 extra pieces. And that part I don't quite understand, since I only wound up with 1 extra piece. So was it a misprint, or did I not grab enough pieces? I checked with everything that was shown on the piece count, and it seems to be right. So, let's get on with the car itself. This is similar to the smart car from 2009, or 2010, I believe. And unfortunately, I don't have it ready for this review, but I can use it in a comparison review later on. So, the idea is, it's a very small car. It's basically the same build as the, not smart car, but small car. The actual set was called small car, but it does represent a smart car type shape. It's a one-person seater, mainly just fits the person in there to drive it. Does have, you know, all the basic car elements, wheels, headlights, rear view mirrors. I actually like some of the adjustments that they've made to this model compared to the 2010 version. For example, a lot of this is the same. There's a slight difference of pieces. Some of them were green just for like the 1x2 pieces. There was a 1x2 on the back here on top of the hood that worked as a brake light. And sometimes I got in the way of when you're putting a minifigure in there. So I like how they didn't include that in this model, because now it gives you a little bit more space to put a minifigure in, and you don't have to worry about, you know, not closing the top on right. You have this small space in the back where you could fit an object such as a suitcase or anything of a relative size. And I dropped it by accident. They did include a suitcase in the first model when they, you know, had it as a set, but this one does not include a suitcase, unfortunately. But it does have the same area as far as, as far as the compartment goes inside of here. It's just that one piece that sits there, and you put it right against there. Considering that the minifigure would be in here driving, it wouldn't fall around too much unless you threw the car entirely upside down. Now, speaking of taking this apart, we're going to take the back part off so you can see more of the inside. Really not much to see in there because you're just getting enough space to fit a minifigure, and a steering wheel that would be at the appropriate height. It's actually like how they're, you know, putting it up on one stud or so, or one small plate, just to, you know, get it at the right minifigure level. And we're going to take Emmet, we're going to throw him in here without his hair, and see how he fits. Now, very similar to the small car, this is a little bit hard to get his arms in there. Usually the arms will have a tendency to bend upwards, as you can see there, only because of these door pieces. The round part of the doors, which still can open up, so that's no big deal, compared to the other model. You know, they both open. What was I going to say? Considering the small space that's in here and the interference of pieces, the arms will have a tendency to move upwards. But, and with that, it might have trouble with, you know, how the minifigure is placed in there. You'll probably have to move the arms up before you put him in, because if you try to do it while he's in there, he'll move backwards with the hinge, you know, with the hinges on his legs. And with that in mind, with his legs moving back and his torso moving back, that presented a problem with using the smart car, because we're at a small car. Sorry, practically the same. Because in the earlier set, it would have interfered with the 1x2 on the back. Now it doesn't, and I actually like that. So it is easy to fit in here, and he does have enough space to drive. Now, his arms show to be a little bit over the steering wheel. They aren't actually in contact with it, but then again, most times, minifigures aren't precisely in contact with the steering wheel. They just have their arms simulated to look like they're driving. Now, some of the updates to this model, other than some of the pieces, colors, here are some of the updates, and they're mainly in the front. I mentioned the back, but in the front, they had a redesign of the pieces because they have just this round 1x4 piece instead of some of the cheese wedges. So it actually makes for a nice clean bumper, which I like. They also use different headlights here. They use the 1x1 tile studs. I'm not sure of the exact name, but it still presents, a nice clean look to the headlights. They also have rear view mirrors with this model. Now, a lot of small cars like these wouldn't include rear view mirrors, but I'm actually surprised that this one does, because it gives a little bit more character to it. It doesn't make it a repeat model, even though it's free. It doesn't make it too much of a look-alike from an earlier $6 or $5 set. It also gives it a little bit more width. As you can see on the top, it gives it now about 6 studs wide of a width. So as far as traveling on roads, it may be a little bit difficult for its condition, but fitting with all the other kinds of LEGO City vehicles that we have nowadays, it's not that big of a deal, because it still fits in very well with the same kind of roads that other 6 wide or even 8 wide vehicles can travel on. It still makes it, a very nice looking car. The fact that any of the pieces that are used here, just the idea of having rear view mirrors makes this a nice feature for the car, even though it doesn't move. And one thing I wanted to point out about the rear view mirror, sorry I'm taking so long with it, but it's a very interesting thing. With this model, it actually has a sort of mirror shape to it. A lot of times, you wouldn't even get that sort of piece on the back. It would just be, oh, you have this thing arching out from the side, and that's pretty much it. But this one allows you to have a sort of mirror simulation on here just with the kind of pieces that are used. So I find that interesting for this model, because a lot of LEGO City models for many years only had it look like, but not actually, from the driver's perspective, feel like a rear view mirror. It's just kind of something that's there, and it's for the mirrors, but I don't know. It also drives around very well. It has a very sturdy base because it's one piece, and it's a very nice base to get. I actually like making cars from this. Go-karts are very nice to make from this type of base. I've made ones where they had 2-seaters, if you've seen my golf cart mock. So it's a very nice, easy to drive car. I remember seeing kids in Toys R Us, they were playing around with this and the airplane model inside the store as they were walking around with their parents. So it's a very fun model, and personally, between the two models, I actually like the small car, I like Emmet's car better. It has a better use of the pieces, obviously, because it has more of them, 40 pieces compared to 34 in the other one. But I don't blame the fly car, because the other pieces would have just been the wheels, basically. I do respect the improvement on this car. I really like how well they've done this. They've fixed some of the errors that were with the original small car, in that it was hard to fit the minifigure in there, and now it's become a little bit easier. It's also more adaptive to LEGO City in the modern LEGO sets, and also keeps up with the types of pieces, especially on the front. So, overall, as an exclusive set, I love both models. I love the fact that we get both models to build with this set. A 2-in-1 for a small set is incredible. If it's not, if it's something, this is smaller than a creator set in terms of pieces and in terms of size. So I really respect how LEGO tried to make this a 2-in-1 model using, relative pieces. I also like the fact that this is, a small car. Now, I was a fan of it when it first came out, and frankly, I wasn't sure if it was actually popular with many people, but I think this actually serves as a unique element to LEGO City in general. Not only for the LEGO movie, but it is a nice LEGO movie element, just to throw in with the rest of those types of sets. Let's see. But it serves well with LEGO City, like I mentioned before. It has great use for minifigures in both of the builds for it. And as a Toys R Us model, I've only gone to this one time before this. And this was a much busier time than I've gone to it before, but it's still a worthwhile time. Because I was happy to get one. So I really, really go out. I'm really sympathetic. This video I myself would like to dedicate to all the people who could not make it to Toys R Us or could not get the small set in time. This review is out to you guys because I know it's very hard to get it. I saw parents in the store who just missed it. You know, they were asking around, like, is this where the LEGO event is? And, you know, is it still going on? And I even saw store employees that were looking around, they were like, do we have anything left? And, you know, they're shaking their heads sadly, no. So I really go out to you guys. I'm very sorry that you couldn't get this. To those of you who did get it, I appreciate that you came out to this event. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope it wasn't too much of a hassle. In case any of you were wondering, yeah, you get to build 2 models, but it doesn't mean you get to take 2 bags. Personally, I would have liked to get 2 just to have both models built, but I can respect having 1 so I can interchange them. I mean, that's the point of a LEGO set, right? I wouldn't get some of the LEGO Movie 2-in-1 sets, or even of the other creator sets, just to build all the models at the same time. I'll build them whenever I need them. So if I don't want the car one moment, I could change it into the plane, or I can take all those parts and put them into another small build. Wow, this is quite a dedication. But I just want you guys to know that I am there for you. And this is why I enjoy reviewing LEGO sets. There are rare occasions where certain models do not come up, you know, available for everyone. And I deeply understand you. So that's why I'm happy to do these kinds of reviews where, you know, rare models such as this Toys R Us exclusive, you know, you'll get the opportunity to see the model entirely around, how it's built, how structured it is, how it compares to others, and all of this information. This is what LEGO reviewing is about. Other than giving my own thoughts on a topic or on a set, this is about reaching out to other people. This is about letting you guys know how this product works and how well it works. And I understand this is quite long, but I think it's very, very meaningful. But I was gonna say before, sorry, I got on a little bit of a tangent. Comparing to other Toys R Us models, like I said, this one's a much busier time because it's a LEGO Movie model, because it's a 2-in-1 build, because this is interactive with minifigures. Now, interactive with minifigures is actually very special. A lot of Toys R Us builds are not interactive with minifigures. I have one from many years back that was kind of a small Quidditch tower. It was based on Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff from Harry Potter. This is around 2001. That was somewhat of an effective, you know, small build. If you want to see that, I'll see if I can find the pieces for it again and rebuild it for you guys. That was probably one of the last few Toys R Us builds that I've seen minifigure interactive. A lot of ones more recently, the Jack 14 Starfighter or the police car, they've been mini builds that are not fit to minifigures. A lot of people in the LEGO community enjoy minifigures, and I really understand if you guys want to get models like this. It's highly recommended, because a model like this is well worth it. I highly recommend it if you can get it on eBay, or if you can even get the regular small car set. It doesn't really make a difference whether you get this one or the previous city version. I mean, you could still make customizations to make it look like this one. Not that hard. Only a couple pieces need to be changed. That's pretty much all my thoughts on this video. But, very nice set. Glad to get the 2-in-1 feature. Glad both of the models that are built work well with minifigures and have some neat little play with them. Very nice additions to the LEGO Movie series, and a good addition to any LEGO collection. So, I apologize once again, this is a long video for such a small set, but I wanted to give my deepest sympathies to those who missed this opportunity or were not available for it. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time with more LEGO set reviews. By the way, I'd like to mark this as my first LEGO movie set review.